Stop. Before you throw out all your running shoes because you love running in sandals so much, we need to talk about one of the biggest downsides to me, and that is running in cold weather. Hi, my name is Nick. This is the Jackalope Adventure Club, where we talk about minimal style running, do sandal reviews and comparisons, and are finally making a video that's on something that's not just a sandal review, which is super cool. So if you'd like to keep supporting this channel and for more content like this, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I think this will be an informative video for a lot of people, so go ahead and subscribe for that. All right. We are going to get into the video. We have a quick disclaimer. O'Neill did not send me these booties. Purchased them with my own money. They're actually a gift from my wife, but same thing. And all opinions are my own. There's no sponsorship on this video. There will be a link in the description, and that is just for your convenience. All right, moving on. So we need to talk why I don't like running in cold weather in sandals. Spring, summer, fall, those are all fine. Once winter hits and we get freezing rain and snow, I don't enjoy running outside as much in sandals. I find that my feet get super cold, and when I get inside they hurt. I really don't want frostbite, and then also when my feet start getting numb, my running form isn't as good. I feel like I'm a lot more heavy footed. So finding something for me to run longer and extend my running season, I was definitely interested in. And I'm sure there's gonna be someone that watches this that goes, oh, I do ultra marathons barefoot and nothing but a 3-inch split short. That's not me, and I don't really want to be like that either, so that's okay, to each their own. So when I was on Instagram and I saw Panta sandals, which I do have a review of, check my playlist down below, I saw someone running in what I thought were socks. With a little bit of investigation, I realized were actually a surf bootie. They weren't these surf booties in particular, but it's the same idea, so I thought it would be a good option. Also, I could get these on Amazon in the US, which was very convenient. So, what is this? This is the O'Neill 3mm Ninja Surf Bootie, a bootie designed for surfing and water activities. To keep you warm. I don't know anything about surfing or the ocean or ocean water activities, but if this was going to be able to extend my running season, I was all for it. This is a tough video. Starting out, we have a neoprene upper and bottom. It looks like the entire thing is neoprene, and then you have a rubber bottom here. This is a split toe design, so your big toe is separated from the other four. You also might see this described as a tabby or tabby boot, which is the same idea where the big toe is separated from the other four. We have a Velcro strap that wraps around the top to secure it all, and my men's size 10 weighs 115 grams or 4.1 ounces per surf bootie. So next we're going to talk about, do these work when it's cold out? Are they minimal? Are they barefoot? And then my just general thoughts about using them, and then also comfort and maintenance, that kind of thing. So starting out, we're going to answer the question, do they keep your feet warm when you're running when it's cold out? Yes, they actually work really well for that. So into the 40s, just barefoot, I was getting cold, kind of uncomfortable. Into 30s, I'm definitely uncomfortable. And then 20s, I'm not even gonna try. Wearing these in 40-degree weather, my feet were sweating. Into the 30s, I was comfortable, and low 30s to 20s, it's still better than barefoot, but it's gonna be uncomfortable at some point. Specifically on the dry days, so if it's cold out but it's still dry, you're not running through a lot of melted snow or that freezing rain or anything like that, these worked really well, and I felt like my feet stayed pretty warm, much better than barefoot. Like, you will notice a big difference. Oddly enough though, on the wet days, I felt like these did not work super great. What would end up happening is the neoprene would get wet, and then you'd be running in that cold air, it'd be going over that wet booty, and then all of a sudden your feet are freezing again. Still way better, but not enough where I'd say I'd want to run, anything longer than probably a 5K, and that's probably maxing it out in like 30-degree wet weather. Also, in snow, one of the big issues I had was that with each step, snow would pack underneath the arch of my foot. And then especially in deep snow, you got snow packed underneath the arch of your foot, and then you'd go through deep snow and then it would pile in on top. So then your foot's totally surrounded in snow. Your feet are just warm enough to melt it, and then you're back in the cold air, and then your feet are cold again. So it worked, but it wasn't totally ideal. But overall, will these keep your feet warm? They will. Definitely going to be better in a drier environment though, compared to a wet, like freezing rain or even snowy environment. Next, we're going to be talking about, are these minimal, are these barefoot? So yes, at 3 millimeters, these are super thin and they feel really good. Also, the split toe design feels super natural as well for walking around. Just walking around in these, I felt so nimble, so stealthy, and it was really cool. Having the bootie that goes up your leg and past your ankle too just makes it feel like a very natural experience. And this thin 3 millimeter rubber on the bottom really does give you a very natural feel with also getting some protection. They worked really well with the sandals as well. The split toe design, I don't have any extra wear or any issues down there. I never had any chafing or anything like that. The seamless stitches that they do on the inside and the glue worked really well, and they were quite comfortable. Now, where these are not minimal in any sense of the word or barefoot is the shape. So this toe box is super narrow. I didn't really notice it. I felt it, but I didn't notice it as much until I tried these with my Totem Coyotes that have a lighter color footbed, and you can really see how much real estate is left unused on that sandal while wearing these. So even though you get a lot of good flexibility, a lot of good articulation, these 4 toes out here are basically like buddy taped together, so they move as one unit. I would start out my runs feeling pretty good, and I do about 1.5 miles every day. But really, about that mile point, I would notice how cramped up my toes felt, and sometimes, worse than others. But I don't know how long of a run I would want to do in this. If you had a narrower foot, I don't think this would be an issue. But my guess is, if you're someone that's running in sandals, looking at a video of how to run in the cold in sandals, you already probably have a pretty wide foot, and this is going to bother you quite a bit. So they're minimal in the sense that they're very thin at 3 millimeters. They have a ton of articulation, super flexible, and really feel like an extension of your foot, but they are so narrow that it will probably bother you and make you feel like these are not minimal at all. Moving on, we are going to be talking about just general use, maintenance, and my thoughts using these. I had a lot of fun using these, and I used them quite a bit. They did extend my running season into the colder weather, and then they also started my running season earlier when I wanted to be wearing sandals. They feel super minimal and super natural, but that toe box is pretty narrow. Using these when they get wet, so one issue I did find is that when these got wet, they do not like to dry out. So what I ended up doing is on my runs, if I was super sweaty or if I went through a lot of snow or if there was rain, I would end up turning these inside out and putting them near a heat vent in our house to try and dry out, because these would not dry out. 24 hours later on my next run, they would still be wet. And sometimes even after flipping them inside out, if I didn't put them near or around a vent with some hot air going through it, they would still kind of damp. And that makes for a very uncomfortable run when they start out and they're wet and then you go outside and it's cold like right away. I found that wearing these around inside for a little bit first helped out with keeping my feet warm. The seamless stitching design on the inside and the glue they use, I didn't have any issues with that, with chafing or anything. They're actually super flush in there, no hot spots, no irritation, and the glue that's used didn't bother my skin at all, which is really nice. This one Velcro strap holds up really well. These booties paired with my craft trail running leggings, I felt so nimble and so fast and streamlined wearing these. I really enjoyed that. I also want to make a note as far as general wear and tear. These are holding up really well so far. I mainly use these with the Shama sandals chargers with a ultra grip footbed. I am seeing some wear on the ball of my foot and then on the instep where that instep outstep post is wearing. But overall, they seem to be holding up quite well, rubber wise, and I'm not getting any peeling or anything like that around the toes or the edges. Definitely a nice design. So next, we're gonna talk about the overall pros, overall cons, who is this sandal for, and would I recommend them. Pros, they are lightweight, they are super flexible, they're very packable if that's something that you're interested in, and they give you a very nice barefoot feel at that 3 millimeters and that flexibility. They do keep your feet warm and much warmer than they would be if you were just running in your sandals straight up in that colder weather. When it comes to cons, the big one is that, to me, is that toe box is so narrow that it'll probably cause your toes to cramp up a little bit. Also, that yes, they will extend your season, but to me, these are not the cure-all, the silver bullet to running in the cold weather. Who do I think these are for? If you are a diehard, I am gonna run in sandals no matter the conditions, I think these are for you. If you live somewhere that has cold weather, but it's also fairly dry, or whatever route you're using is pretty dry, I think these would be a good option for you. If you're someone that already surfs and for whatever reason or does some other water activity and you already have something like this, why not do double duty or use a older pair for running in sandals? And would I recommend them? I wouldn't. Nothing against O'Neill. I think this is a really cool product, but to me, the big thing I was looking for is something that would keep my foot warm, that I could go almost entirely through the season. Yes, it was nice to extend the season, but ultimately I end up having to go to shoes and wool socks. Also, this experience made me realize that to me, running minimal and barefoot, I care way more about width than stack height. So I would rather run in something that's wider but has a taller stack height than something that has a smaller stack height that's thinner and is narrower. Ultimately, what ended up happening is into the low 30s and into the 20s on the days that there was a ton of snow out, I ended up running in my Ultra Superior 4s, which is a much older shoe with wool socks. My feet stayed warm, they were wide, and because my shoes are old, they're a lot more squished down, so they're probably closer to the 15 millimeter to 10 millimeter stack height range. And that was just a much better running experience compared to having snow packed under my foot or falling on top, my feet being cold at the end of the run. It just worked out better, and I had a ton of room in there. I think, like the toe socks, the Injinji toe socks, or I have regular wool socks that we got from Amazon that aren't the most warm fitting, but they work really well with those Ultra shoes. I do intend to keep wearing these, keep running in them when it is colder, but I don't see myself getting another pair, mainly just because they are on the narrower side, and ultimately, if I'm gonna switch to shoes anyway, I'd rather just have one pair of shoes, not, sandals and a pair of booties with the sandals and then a pair of shoes. I'd rather just jump right to it. So that is all I have here today. I'm curious, down in the comments, let me know, have you tried surf booties to run in sandals? Have you tried the toe socks? What's your experience been? Are you the one person that likes to run ultra marathons barefoot in the snow? Let me know. Maybe there's something I can train for to make that easier or actually possible. And to let you know what's coming down the pipeline, I have the Totem Sandal Coyotes that I'm doing a review on, and then also with all the sandals I have, I definitely need to start doing some comparisons. So I think a good head-to-head battle between the Shama Charger, the Totem Coyote, and then also the Pantasamos, they all use the same outsole. I think that would be a good combination for people to find out which one is best for them. And that is all I have, I think, right now. Yeah. So thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trails.